error. Trying to redo it.
It says it's live. Good morning. Morning, everybody. Here we are with the Gen AI news briefing. Luda, you leading today or am I?
I'm leading today. Okay.
Very
So
good.
welcome to the daily AI news review, where we rate the news essential, important, and optional, helping you navigate through this avalanche of developments in this very fast developing field. So today I have John, Paul, Ankash, and we're going to review very interesting 6 articles.
And Adam, too. We have Adam as well.
Oh, hi, Adam. I didn't see you. Yeah, and Adam as well. Oh, this is wonderful. So let's proceed. And by the way, you could follow along in the gaiinsights.com/articles. And please tell us your opinions of what you think about these developments. Okay, let's start with the first article, Ankash.
Okay, the first one is the big one, comes from Google, and Google has a slew of announcements for us.
Yes, it's similar to what we saw from Microsoft, a slew of announcements looking at building a really big platform across various channels here. What did you think about this, John?
Yeah, I thought this was absolutely essential. I mean, if we go down to different things that they've announced here, just to kind of tick them off, we've got Gemini Ultra, which allows for access to many of the company's products, and it's at $250 a month, and that allows access to VO, to the new Flow video editing, Gemini Pro Deep Think mode, which is just coming out, hasn't launched yet, but it'll be out soon, and bigger limits on Notebook from Google. So VO is incredibly powerful model now, can generate decent sound effects. Imagine 4 in terms of image generator. If you go down a little farther on Kosh, I mean, it's just a beautiful capabilities. My early life, I did a bunch of sculpture and drawing and stuff. The ability to render these garments and so forth is just spectacular. The Gemini app itself has 400 million monthly active users. The article says 400, but they mean 400 million. Because if you go to another reference, it shows that. You have Stitch, which is their, web design and mobile app, the ability to put stuff out there. Project Mariner, Astra, AI mode, Beam 3, and Wear OS, all the way down to unified tiles that allow for pixel watches and so forth. So I think this is absolutely essential. We have a major vendor here with fantastic new capability. I wouldn't count Google down for the count yet. So I think this is essential for our AI leader to know and to study.
Okay, going on essential. I was actually important. We rated Microsoft important, and I agree that the spectrum of capabilities is absolutely stunning. But if you dig down into each one of those, some of those, it's incremental advancements, and we knew about all of those capabilities before. Really, there's no new news per se, and so that's why I was unimportant. Paul, what did you think? Oh, you're on mute, Paul. Paul, you're on mute.
Sorry, I probably spent 45 minutes last night and this morning playing with AI mode, and it's a little different than I don't know what AI, whatever they call AI summary on their search. I mean, the AI mode, I think, is material in terms of how the SEO bloodbath is going to material out. So I think that is one thing that's really important for all companies to understand, because it is the dominant product search and discovery and recommendation tool out there, and they need to watch that war. I think it's interesting the pricing settling down for this 200 to 250 Ultra Pro model here, and I think this is another indication that Google absolutely had a bunch of stumbles a year and a half ago, but the giant is waking up, and they are not talking; they are shipping. And for all those reasons, I have essential. I think another thing, it's also reinforces to me how important it is for organizations, AI leaders, to not get into whale watching for tools. They need to pick one of their majors and just go with that, because OpenAI is expanding everywhere, Google's expanding everywhere, Microsoft's expanding anywhere, and just to understand what's coming out from your preferred supplier is a full-time job. So essential.
Yeah. Okay.
And for those of you who don't speak Paul Baier lingo, whale watching means sitting back and watching different new products and waiting until you see all the whales before you do anything.
And running from one side of the boat to the others. Oh, there's a whale over there. There's a whale over there. Some of the New England term.
Adam, you're on mute and not on camera.
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in and give my. I'd say it's essential. Maybe in the details of the. I would agree with you, Luda. It's a lot of incremental changes. There are some things in there that are new or forthcoming, but overall, the awareness that Google has taken this next big step is something everyone's going to be talking about. Something that it's essential they're at least aware of, if they don't get into all of the details of what all the incremental changes are. But it is tremendous. There are some things in there, if you start digging through it, that are really next level. And to Paul's point about choosing your top tier vendor and sticking with them, the message, I guess, would be for the Google shops that use the whole Google suite and their sheets and their docs and all those things, to rest assured that they're going to have a partner there that's able to compete, and they don't have to consider like moving to Microsoft, for example.
Okay, great.
You had an opinion here as well?
Ankaj, what did you think?
So, Luda, I think essential for me for a few reasons. So, while the improvements are incremental, but if you see VO Imagine 4, there's another coding tool called Jules that they have launched. Then they have the Gemma N model, which can be run on any smartphone now. And all these announcements, while they are incremental when they are announced individually, but VO is top video generation model, best in class right now. Same for Imagine. Same for Notebook LM. Notebook LM, I think, is number 2 in the App Store on in terms of productivity apps. So I think a lot of great tools from Google now coming together, which makes it essential.
Essential it is. Then let's proceed to the next one. And by the way, I got really like 3 excited messages from people who were there live, saying the excitement is just hanging in the air. There's just over, it's just bursting out. So there was a lot of.
Luda, I will just say, if people do one thing to tap into this, watch the video of the guy working on his bicycle and talking to his phone, and you'll get a sense of what the future is. Like, they have the demonstration, and in the background, just as a separate process, the Gemini goes and calls the bike shop and finds out whether or not a part is in stock for him.
Wonderful. Okay, essential it is. Let's proceed.
I just want to highlight Ram also on our communities voting for essential as well. So we'd love it when the listeners vote in as well.
Thanks, Ram.
Okay, the next one comes from NVIDIA, and it's about DreamGen. So DreamGen comes from NVIDIA Gear Lab, and it's a 4-stage pipeline to generate synthetic robot data for robot training. I rated it as important because earlier the training used to happen through human input, which was time consuming and also costly. But now this new method, I think, is really sort of efficient and optimal for training robots.
Right. Okay. An important rating from Ankaj. What did you think about this, Paul?
Yeah, I actually had this as essential. I mean, I know we see a lot of robots, but to me, this is 0-shot training off of a video for robots. And I think YouTube's now at 20 billion videos, and profound implications certainly for robotics and manufacturing, which is a more near-term things here. I think one of the reasons I have it essential for the AI leader, I think this is another boundary condition that's moved past our expectations from a year ago. So I think if a year ago you said we're going to have 0-shot video training, I think people would have thought that was a little beyond the realm of possibility, and it's an everyday miracle. So essential just because it's moved so far the possibility frontier.
So quickly. There's quite a bit of difficulties these robots are having, as you could see. So it's still researchy, obviously, but moving at the lightning speed. Adam, what did you think?
I think I was important on this news, and I'm essential more broadly on people understanding between this type of technology and the simulation reinforcement fine tuning that's happening in robotics. XAI's Tesla's Optimus robot just in the last week and a half has made probably 2 orders of magnitude change in acceleration and its capabilities through simulation training, through using these new approaches. So I'm with Paul that this trend of the acceleration of the robotics exceeding our expectations is definitely something that people need to be aware of.
Okay, John, between important and essential here, what was your vote?
Yeah, I was there too. In between the two, I think that I might tilt toward essential for the reason that this notion that we call all the world's a barcode. So the idea of inductively understanding reality, whether it's for a model or a diagnosis or whatever, from the outside in to then more functional models like physics models or biologic models, I think is a general trend, and this really brings it alive as a concept. So I'm at the border, but I would lean essential.
Okay, yeah, I was same place, important, essential. I was leaning more important because it's still research. But for the arguments you, Paul and John, you cite, let's go essential. Ankaj, essential, okay?
Yes, Luda.
Okay, sounds good. Essential it is. Let's proceed to the next one.
Okay, the next one is about Robin, which is a multi-agent system for automating scientific discovery.
Yeah, this is a whole loop of taking a particular disease and coming up with a potential solution for it, tested in the lab. So, what did you think about this, John?
Yeah, I hate to sound like somebody who's suffering from great inflation here, but I think this. And remember, the other day I almost had a no hit. Last time I was running things, I almost had a no hitter with all optional. So I just want, in my defense, the Robin, and you guys talked me out of the no hitter. Anyway, Robin, I think this is essential because this is. I mean, if we look at this architecture here, I have been an academic and so forth, and this is the scientific method, right? They're out looking at what's going on. There are different agents that are looking at the the existing literature, then coming up with hypotheses, and then coming up with ideas. And they came up with a novel treatment. The model, Robin, the meta model that sits on top of Crow and Falcon and Finch, came up with a new treatment path that they need to experiment about for macular degeneration. I mean, this is real stuff, and this code is available right now. And I think that the science-based industries, it's so vital that. Gosh, I don't know what's going on here with the display. We're not seeing the article, but anyway, what's going on here. If you scroll down in the article itself, it looks at it's able to look at the different evidence and data and so forth. You get that a little farther. If we can automate the creation of new knowledge that is practical in something as important as macular degeneration, that to me is essential for any company to understand the ability of these new models to push science and understanding forward. So I came down essential.
Yeah, and we always talked about the discoveries being on cross fields. They kind of baked it into their thinking here, and it transpired. It came through. So this is in my book also essential. How about Paul? What did you think?
Yeah, I think we got a recurring theme here of essential themes, and an article that's accelerating that theme either being essential, important here. I do think for John's argument, it's essential as well. So AI, we talk a lot about the MIT day over at the Davos, that 95% of what humans can do will be done better by the robots 2 years from now. And a lot of people, I think, interpreted that as automation. And I think this new knowledge discovery that John's highlighting here is something that, again, I think it's beyond what people thought possible 12 months ago. And it's another frontier milestone movement. So essential.
Yeah, and I got excited because not only did they come up with the treatment, they came up with a treatment that you can take off the shelf that is used in another to treat another disease, and they could test it, get the data, feed it back to the model, and complete the loop. So this is incredible.
Yeah.
Adam and Ankash, going essential. What did you think?
Yeah, I could support essential. I didn't read the article, but in thinking actually more laterally, like you could use this to experiment on new algorithms. You could use it to experiment on new ways to approach your marketing. Like I think the lateral thinking of applying the scientific method, it's incredible what they did for macular degeneration, and that's a specific use case within even a specific vertical. But the idea more generally of a system that can develop its own hypotheses based on a corpus and then test them is extraordinarily powerful.
Yeah. Thanks, Adam.
I want just to acknowledge we have Dr. Castro in the house online. So Harvey, if you think essential, let us know as well.
Ashish makes an interesting point that will agentic knowledge discovery replace RAG? That's I'm not sure, but it certainly is an amazing capability. I think that our analogy of human in the loop that everybody was talking about, oh, we need a human in the loop. I think I'm not sure that's the right analogy, because now we're talking about robots creating new knowledge and we're in the discussion. That's a little different than it. Human in the loop kind of infers that, oh yeah, the humans in control and they're going to and this is very different. I mean,
But John, I think here though, you can have, knowledge discovery with your own company data. So I think exploring new, customer actions with all the Fidelity transaction data would be one use case.
All right, Dr. Castro says essential.
Yeah, essential. Ankash, essential. We're going essential, okay?
Yes, Luda, essential for me. Yeah.
Okay. Essential it is, but it is a topic, agentic knowledge and RAG. I think it will be a combination. We will see more articles about this. All right, essential, let's proceed.
Okay, the next one comes from Microsoft, and it is a case study about how NFL gains real-time insights for informed drafted decisions with Azure AI.
Yes, this is mine. So what NFL does every year, they get together across their clubs, 32 clubs, and evaluate the talent and performance data of 300 plus of the best athletes of the world. And how they put it together is very important for the whole industry, right? So they've put essentially a RAG system together, and this article talks about it, that now through the assistant, it enables this body of evaluation be available to the folks instantly, and that saves quite a bit of time and quite a bit of work and makes it much more accurate. So it's there's nothing really new here per se from the cases that we saw before. So I was between optional and important and ended up on actually important. So, but I can live with optional. What did you guys think? John?
I was going to give it an important, because it really shows the advance in decision support. Combine's super popular. The NFL has got to be the best managed sports, category. They crying out loud. I mean, they turn everything into a media event. which is, I mean, this is just their inside their guts. I mean, so now the draft and the combine and all that other stuff is actually turned into part of the brand, which is amazing to me. So I think Microsoft did a really smart marketing thing here. I'd give it an important, it's an easy thing for people to understand who love American football and, go that next level of decision support using AI.
Yeah. Okay. Adam, what did you think?
Yeah, I guess I sort of felt it was almost like a great use case and a great example that highlights the art of the possible, and particularly within the Microsoft stack. But I didn't read the article, so if someone could tell me, like, I think if there's metrics in there that really support the outcomes,
No,
that would probably tip it into important versus optional for me.
I didn't see any metrics in there. Did you guys?
Yeah, no, it's
It's
more
just
like,
kind of, wow, this is really amazing. They used it and it was really helpful. And it's like, okay, how helpful?
Yeah, if it wasn't
What was the impact,
no, I don't think there are any real. It's the speed. It's the speed and the accuracy, but they don't cite the examples of of the impact. That's why I was on the border. Okay, Paul, what do you think?
Yeah. I had important.
You had important.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're definitely not essential.
All right, and Ankaj, we're going here. Important. What did you think?
Important is fine for me, Duda. I think I agree with Adam that those statistics are missing, but it's a good use case in a different industry. So I think important for me.
Yeah. Okay. Important it is. All right. Let's proceed to the next one.
Okay. The next one is about a new startup called Not Diamond, and they have launched a new feature called prompt adaptation. So Not Diamond is a startup in the LLM ops space, where they were earlier helping users route their queries to different LLMs. And now this feature helps adapt your prompt to different LLMs. And in my view, this development is an important one. So last week only, Luda, if you remember, we were discussing how our GPTs were not performing well and there was a change in background in the model itself. So I think this particular product can help with that, where if the underlying LLM changes and we have built a product on top of that, and this product can change or modify our prompts with respect to those models, then it can save us a lot of time, which we spend in then adjusting our prompts.
Yeah, prompt development is a very very necessary field. They claim that they actually adapt it to the LLM and they know how to actually position it for that particular LLM. So, and they cite SAP and a couple of other companies that they use this. So, for me, it was also on the important side. What did you think, Paul? New development in the space.
Yeah, important trend. I had it as optional. I mean, I think it's. I mean, everyday miracle. Every article is an everyday miracle. So I had it.
Yeah. No, I understand. Maybe Adam, what did you think? You didn't have to. You didn't have an ability to play with it either.
Yes, that's right. But it's something that can layer over, for example, Gemini or ChatGPT, or is it just connecting to the APIs? Because some of the feedback I've heard on people who are starting to play with the new Gemini model is they're moving from Claude or they're moving from ChatGPT and they don't know how to talk to Gemini because it actually requires different prompting techniques. And so this is, again, maybe as Paul's saying, the trend is this is a really important trend, and it's important to have awareness of the fact that there are different prompting techniques, and creating tools that can help you after the right model has been selected talk to it in the correct way is really important to understand. I don't know how this, at least within enterprise, is really going to be an enabler of that anytime in the near future. So
Okay,
I'd probably lean towards optional then.
Let me respond to that. Ankash, could you scroll a little bit down to the schematic where it says what you feed the system and what it gives you? So it does layer on top, right? So you give the system the original prompt that you might have developed, the various input-output pairs that you like, and the metric to evaluate, and then the target models. So you can give it the GPT, the Sonnet, the Gemini, Llama, and it adapts. So it spits out the prompt for each model specifically, adjusted prompt. So it is layering over. That's what I think you meant, Adam.
Yeah, that's right. But then do you have to go copy and paste it into your other chat tool?
Yeah.
It's just helping you kind of select it. So
Yeah.
I could go to GPT and have it do a web search for how to prompt Gemini. So I think they're just making that capability a little easier to use then, because it's not actually integrating on top of it so that you're sort of automating that process.
Not yet, it sounds like. Okay, so you suggest optional. Okay, John?
Yeah, I was going to give it an important, huge issue. Not getting vendor lock-in. Any of the tools in here, I think people should be aware of. This seems like a decent new tool.
Yeah. So Ashish is commenting. This is a depth search for prompt optimization. So Adam is arguing that you could do it anywhere. You could do it in each of the LLMs, right? And go
But
across.
you can't do that for thousands of prompts, right? You can do for individual prompts, but this tool does it for thousands of potential prompts that you need to work with, right?
Okay, right. So let's put it as important. This is a new development. It's certainly every developer out there is working with prompts, so it's important for lots of people, lots of angles. So let's make it important and proceed. Ankash.
Okay, the last one that we have for today comes from AWS, and it talks about how here technologies is boosting developer productivity with new GenAI powered coding assistant.
Right. So Here Technologies is a European company, about $1 billion in revenue. It's a mapping and location technology. And so over the years, it's a 40-year-old company. Over the years, they've built a quite serious documentation, but they noticed, and they very much not new to AI and machine learning and Gen AI, but they noticed that people who are coming in, the developers that are new to the system, ask very, very simple questions, and there is documentation, but navigating the onboarding was difficult. So they created this coding assistant, a simple onboarding exercise that boosted the speed of the developers and to revenue, essentially, to the new applications of the new clients. I think it's a very good case for, in general, companies doing this onboarding. So I rated it as important. So would love to hear what people think. What did you think about this, John?
Yeah, important for all the reasons you said. Well documented, important area.
And they have a schematic even lower on cache, sort of not in this type of sort of like process flow.
Yeah, and a bunch of the code as well. So
in a bunch of the code, this one. Yeah, so this to me, I felt that many older companies who have lots of documentation but struggling with onboarding folks in how to use their systems can use this. Paul, what do you think?
Yeah, important just because of the documentation. I mean, it is a very common use case, but the documentation is impressive. It's important.
Okay, Ankash, Adam going important. Anything?
Yeah, that's good.
That's good, Ankash?
Yes, Luda.
Okay, so let's prepare the scorecard. Any announcements? Paul, John, Adam?
No announcements. We do have on YouTube, our channel, the recording of Ashish's insightful presentation on Monday's Learning Lab of traditional software coding versus testing versus Gen AI testing. And folks, if you can like and subscribe on YouTube, that would help us continue to grow the audience.
Wonderful.
I will just say one thing. I had dinner last night with a number of CIOs and an old friend who leads a very large investment company. He was part of the Trump administration's visit to Saudi Arabia, and he just came back with stories of just how active how much money and how much activity is just lining up in the Middle East to build out the next level of AI infrastructure. You know, for people who are not in this day to day, my goodness, this is happening on a global scale and a speed I've never seen before in my business career. So I just want to add that in.
Yeah, and related to that, John, I can't remember if we covered as a news items. I mean, OpenAI is making a real play for sovereign AI data centers in these different regions here. So it is the next industrial sovereign competitive angle.
Yeah, but global movement. Okay, great. So today we have 3 essentials and 3 importance. So we can be accused of the scope creep, but I think those are real. So they just happen to fall on this day. So thank you, listeners and participants, Ashish, Lucinda, Ram, Harvey.
Dr.
Castro, like really appreciate your insight and participation. And thank you all, and we'll see you tomorrow.